The next topic is probably one of the most difficult for you because you're all farmers and you're never going to stop farming, right? And you're not going to die. So you think you don't need estate planning, but so far we've never found how to get out of this world alive. So I think we all need to think about it even though we don't really want to face it. So Meredith Melendez, one of our team members, is going to talk about estate plans, resources, and what you need for your farm business.
Okay, so like Robin said, estate planning can be difficult. And so last year we built upon learning modules that Barbara had developed, and there's a Rutgers website titled Later Life Farming. And that website gets a lot of use, but we knew there was a real need for having experts in the room with a live audience to have conversations about individual situations with estate transfer and later life farming planning. So according to the Ag Census, the average age of the New Jersey farmer is 59.5, and every time they do the Ag Census, that number ticks up a little bit more. And so it means that this is a critical need for education in the state in terms of talking with producers as to what to do with their farm in the future. There are many different options, and then how to prepare financially for the future as well. When it comes to farms in the United States, the net worth is often a lot larger than the average household, but a lot of it's illiquid, right? So it's not money in the bank, it's land, it's buildings, it's equipment, and that's when it comes to dealing with the finances and figuring out the value of those things, those are always changing numbers, so it certainly complicates things. We did a survey of all of the previous Annie's Project participants to determine the need for this type of education, and 73% of Annie's Project participants indicated that they were planning on transferring the farm in the future. But when we looked at the number of folks that actually had a will in place, we saw maybe about 50% of participants had that. So there's a real disconnect between need and then being prepared for that need. So we applied for a grant with the Extension Risk Management Education and received funding to hold 3 workshops throughout the state. I'm not recognizing any faces in here that anyone attended those workshops. That's okay. The goal of the workshops was not just to have live presentations, but to take all the resources that we had already and that we created for those workshops and make them available for everyone so they could be a resource for folks who attended to work on their transition plans and their estate plans in the future, but also to provide resources for people that couldn't be there for the live workshop. So the foundation was Planning the Future of Your Farm, which is produced by Pennsylvania Farm Link. There's a lot of really great information, and I have a copy of this for everyone today, that workbook. So you can see here, we've got anything in the book that is very specific to Pennsylvania. We have the New Jersey specific information available for you, and if it's something that you needed to link to for more info online, you can see the links are all there as well. So I have a copy of the book for you, and I have a copy of the addendum. Also available online is the website from Purdue Extension, Who Will Get Grandpa's Farm, and I think we're going to be going over some of those today. But we really recognize that communication within families is the first hurdle in figuring out the future of a farm, and it can also be the most difficult step, and often is the wall that stops people from making progress on their estate plans and their transition plans. So we really tried to encourage dialogue and have scenarios that you could watch to help you figure out how you want to communicate with family members. What was nice about the workshops is we had folks in that 59 and above age category, but we also had some younger folks in attendance who knew they needed to have these conversations with those in the family that were going to be transitioning from full-time farming to maybe semi-retired farming. So they found it to be very helpful. We also relied heavily on these documents from the Department of Agriculture. So you can see we have Transferring the Family Farm, which Reich is featured in. And that's scenarios of New Jersey farms that have gone through a transition process. And it's not always just success stories. They really, you can learn from mistakes that were made or things that happened because there wasn't enough planning or foresight. So that can be very useful. And so I have a copy of that for everybody today. Also available online is the leasing farmland in New Jersey. So leasing land is often a decision that people make when they're not actively farming it themselves. So having a planning for lease materials is very important. And then, of course, there's the New Jersey Ag Mediation Program. So just really important for people to know resources that are out there to help them. So the topics that are covered in the resources that we have for you today, and the materials that are also available online, like we said, the communication, cheat sheets on planning your family meeting, so getting everybody at the same table to really identify goals, financial needs, really bringing to light all the things maybe people are thinking but they're not saying out loud, in that in order to have a successful estate and transition plan, you need to have those conversations about personal financial needs for the future. So figuring out what's your comfort level with finances for the future. How do you see your retirement or later life farming? Business financial needs. So are you going to be paring down the business, or are you going to be ramping it up because of the people that are coming into it? Identifying income sources to support those financial needs, both personal and business. Financial and legal realities of transfer, so learning from other people's experiences and mistakes so you don't have to figure it out the hard way all the time. And then how to find your farm transition and transfer team. So identifying appropriate lawyers, accountants, and other professionals that can help you make decisions. So Jeff was a part of this team as well, and all of the talks were recorded, and they're available online. So if you weren't there and you want to see what was presented that day to use with the resources we're giving you, then you have that ability to do that. We have a to-do list that's available online that you can try to set goals for what needs to be done and a time frame for when you need to do those. I do not have the USBs here today, but these were just additional resources. Some are available on the website online, but if anybody would like a USB with these resources, I'm happy to get that to you. You could just email me. If you just search Melendez and Rutgers extension, I'm the only one, so I'm easy enough to find online. So this is the website, and I have a printout of this page so that you'll have the web address to take home with you. So this is Barb's Later Life Farming website. You can see there's lots of modules on there that have great resources. But if you're looking specifically for workshop materials, you can see we've got a link here. And all the videos are housed on that page for viewing, and then the additional resources. So if you wanted to print out additional pages from any of the materials that we're giving you today, you have the ability to do that online. And then we have also, for those that are dealing with preserved farmland, or if you think that's a direction you want to head into, there's a lot of information there from the farmland preservation. We really wanted to track the participants in the workshop to see, how effective were we as educators and how effective were the materials that we gave to everyone. And 6 months after the workshop, you could see we had some really great success stories of people making progress on their plans. So they came to the workshop, they set their goals, and they were enacting them, which makes us happy, and it makes the funding agency happy when we can tell them that the money wasn't wasted. 1 year after the workshop, we wanted to see how comfortable were people with the progress that they've made. And you could see at the beginning of the workshop, most people indicated they were not confident at all, or only a little bit confident in their estate plan and what they had. But 1 year afterward, we really had a great shift in that people were in that okay and confident category. So I hope that you can take that as proof that these materials are worth your time and they can help you make progress on your plan. It's certainly always something that's a work in progress. It's not, that binder, you finish it and you put it up on the shelf and it can collect dust. Life happens, right? And things are always changing. But having a solid plan in place to tweak as you go is important. So again, we were funded through the USDA and the Northeast Extension Risk Management Education. So when we hand out the other stuff, you'll have all those materials for you. I'm here for the rest of the day, so if you have specific questions about anything, I'm happy to answer them. And you can certainly always email me as well if there's anything you need that you think could be helpful. Certainly as you're going through the process, you'll come up with more questions, and we're here to help. So thank you.